You're about as useful as a one-legged man at an arse-kicking contest. The older you get, the more you realize how happenstance has helped to determine your path through life. Mr. Bean is essentially a child trapped in the body of a man. All cultures identify with children in a similar way, so he has this bizarre global outreach. I consider myself more of a visual comedian than a physical one. I like to juggle with one ball at a time. Then I put the ball down and do nothing for extended periods of time. The clear problem of the outlawing of insult is that too many things can be interpreted as such. Criticism, ridicule, sarcasm, merely stating an alternative point of view to the orthodoxy can be interpreted as insult. But I always feel that whatever I do, I could do better. I suppose it is perfectionism. I can do it when I'm very relaxed and with good friends. Then I think I can be amusing. Monty Python crowd. Half of them came from Cambridge and half of them came from Oxford. But there seems to be this jewel, this sort of two-headed tradition of doing comedy, of doing sketches, and that kind of thing. Funny things tend not to happen to me. I am not a natural comic. I need to think about things a lot before I can be even remotely amusing. I'm not a collector. I don't like the toy cupboard syndrome that causes so many good cars to evaporate. People think because I can make them laugh on the stage, I'll be able to make them laugh in person. That isn't the case at all. I am essentially a rather quiet, dull person who just happens to be a performer. I want to express myself in a different way. I have a performing inclination. And what's interesting about him as a comic character is that the custard pie hardly ever ends up on his face. But generally speaking, I tend to be quiet and introspective. It's not easy to take a sit, come and turn it into a feature. I enjoy racing historic motor cars from the 50s and 60s. The seed of my interest was planted when I was about 12 years old and took over my mother's Morris Minor. I drove it around my father's farm. But my favorite car is still a McLaren phone, which I have had for 10 years. In the modern media age, we are rarely surprised by what we see. Whether it's on television or film or in the theater, everything is so advertised, so trailed, that most entertainment is merely what you thought it was going to be like. Not so much in Canada, but certainly in the US. As I'm sure you know, money is all, and if they can get another 26 programs of the same thing, even though it advances the culture or those actors' careers not at all, it doesn't matter. Mr. Bean is at his best when he is not using words, but I am equally at home in both verbal and nonverbal expression. Apart from the fact that your physical ability starts to decline, I also think someone in their 50s being childlike becomes a little sad. You've got to be careful. Confronting a stadium audience, you can't see the whites of their eyes. It's just an amorphous mass of noise, and of course, you can't see the alleged billions watching at home either. So the degree to which you are intimidated is quite low. I don't much enjoy back and forth. I think it has its own particular qualities, but I think it's inferior to any of the half-hour ones we did. In TV, and in particular in commercials, you don't really need to explain very much at all. You just say he's a spy and he's a little bit theatrical and overblown and smug, and he's not very good at his job.